If you are not familiar with this, you don't need a lot of material to do this. The simplest thing you can get is a screwdriver with a fairly small straight bit. Don't use a large bit, it won't work. We have to make a couple of changes to the physical nature of where the wires are in the box. We're going to start with the large black wires. There's 3 in here, as you can see. Okay. Right now, only one of them routes through this device right here, which we call a CT or current transformer. And if you note, it comes out of terminal 1 here. If I pull on this, you can see it move. And it comes through the CT, and this is eventually what gets attached to the compressor. What we need to do to convert this thing so that you can use it for 3-phase is route the second wire, which is this one right here, and you can see it moving. But we need to route it through this CT, but in the opposite direction of the first one. So I'm going to show you how that works. You simply loosen this screw. You remove this wire here, which I've just done, and completely pull it out of the way. Once that wire is pulled out of the way, the most important step I can tell you is that you have to fish it through in the opposite direction that this one's running. In other words, so that it goes down through instead of up through. So there, I've routed that from the reverse side now, and take this connector here and put it right back into the same terminal you just removed it from, making sure that you've got it all the way in and tight. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, so push it down, slide that in. There we go. And then just as simply tighten this back down. What you see here in the finished product is one of the wires from this passes through the CT in one direction, one passes in the other direction now. And when these are attached to the compressor, you're still going to put them on 1, 2, and 3 on the compressor. They just happen to go opposite directions. The design of this control, in order for it to read 3-phase correctly, requires them to go in opposite directions. That's why we have to fish it that way. That's it for the large wire configuration changes. The next step is the small wire configuration changes that are on this control here before we can do anything. One of the most important things you need to know before you wire this is the compressor it's going on, whether it has PTCs, which is a positive temperature coefficient reader within the compressor, thermistor, or if it just has a bimetallic thermostat. So we're going to assume for current instance that you don't have a PTC, that you have a bimetallic thermostat, which a lot of them have right now. You have to change some of the wiring here on this unit in order for it to operate with a bimetallic thermostat. For this, I'm going to turn this back over to a Phillips bit, and I'm going to simply remove these 2 orange wires right now off of the 2 terminals that they're on. Next step you're going to do is take this resistor. You're going to bend this resistor so that it will fit on those same 2 terminals that you just removed the orange wire from, but you can fish it in from either side, it does not matter. So just for showing this, I'm not going to trim the resistor at all, but I'm going to show you where it would go. Okay, so we go from here to here. Let's get this correct. 1, 2. Okay, making sure that they go underneath the plates on the 2 screws, and then simply tighten the screws back down. What that does is prevent the control from seeing no signal there and sending a false report of a problem to the computer during its operational life cycle. Because it's designed to see resistance here from a PTC, and if there's no resistance there because you've removed everything, it's going to always send an error code to the computer. We don't want that to happen, so this has to be installed. Once that's installed, the remainder of what needs to happen has to do with the connections going from the compressor down to the rest of the unit. What's going to happen is you're going to take one of these orange wires that you've removed. You're going to simply attach it down here. We'll use number 14. And if you're not sure where these terminals are, The numbers on the terminals reside right here on the side where you can see this. You can clearly see the numbers. You have L, N, 1, 2, 3, 14, and 11. So 14 and 11 are the two that we're going to use for hooking up to a bimetallic thermostat. 14 and 11 basically completes a circuit that's a safety circuit within the compressor. And what you're going to do is take one orange wire and put it on there. We're going to run this over. This is going to get attached to one of the two terminals on the compressor that remains, and then the other one's going to actually go on the other terminal on the compressor and go off and tie to your other two control lines that'll come into the compressor during the time of the field installation that'll actually enter the box through here. So this wire has to go back in the box, but will not be attached for any other purpose until after this is mounted to the compressor body. If you're wondering where to find the sheet which shows you this, it came with a piece of equipment, and it's clearly marked right here on the back side of this diagram here. Okay, so you have the front page here, turn to the back page, and here's the diagram that shows you, first of all, what we just did, routing the wire front and reverse through the CT, and then also where to connect things on the compressor. Now notice, if you have the thermostat in here, the bimetallic thermostat only, you're going to connect to terminals 9 and 8, and then you're going to connect the large black wires to terminals 1, 2, 3. And I can tell you right now that you want to follow 1, 2, 3 here, which is 1, 2, 3 here, with 1, 2, 3 on the compressor when you connect these wires on. After you've connected the 1, 2, 3, go back and refer to this diagram here, and now you have 11 and 14, which you can see are connected, and you can see 9 and 8. And so when you're connecting it to the compressor, you take the one that we've already connected, in this case it's the number 11, that's going to connect out to your circuit, and then you're going to bring back another wire, which is your current loose one that you have not used yet, and that's going to go to terminal pin 8. And then terminal pin 9 comes across and ties into 14. So what you're going to do is this last one is going to come across and tie to terminal pin 9. That concludes hooking this up with a bimetallic thermostat.